Hey everybody, Dave England again. Oh, I always have that. I gotta look at my Wine with Dave glasses, huh? You know what? I got the black text, and I should have had white wine because the black shows up on white. So anyway, I love my glasses. Shout out to Karen Clark for making those for me for my birthday, which was awesome. I was completely in shock. You know, usually she gets me a little something, bag of candy or something, you know. But then she heard about the show, and I reach in and I pull out the thing. I'm like, what? Little goblet things. Like, what is that? And I pull it out. Wine with Dave glasses. It's like, that's the coolest. Hey, how's everybody doing? Type in where you're from. Just ticka. Type it in. I'd like to know where you are from. If you're new here, go up and click on follow, the little follow button at the very top of the page on Wine with Dave. If you're not on Wine with Dave, you know, just type that in the search bar, go to the Wine with Dave page and follow me there and just click on, follow me. Likes are good too. Likes are good, follows are good. Hey, I got a really cool guest on tonight. He's an old friend of mine. I'm not going to steal any thunder, but if you're into artwork, if you want to see a new artist, I want to say up-and-coming artist. He's always been. He's not up and coming. He's coming. He's here. He's arrived. He's not coming to a town near you. He's already been doing it. So anyhow, who do we have tonight on the show? We got Steve Wolf right around the corner. Iced Coffee with Dave. I'm definitely not in Kentucky anymore. Ron Sweeney, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Nice. Deb Zeller Chappell. I wonder who she's related to. Think. I know Deb. Mark DeMello from Tiverton, Rhode Island. How's it going, Mark? Courtney Bertrand. I'm just waking up to go to work. You always have to go to work. Courtney, I want you to stay. I want to interview you too. You'd be a great guest. Yes, I want to know what's going on with your bad self. What did you say? I'm just waking up, go to work, and of course, watch Wine with Dave. Thank you so much. You're the best. Mark DeMello, I'm into iced coffee with Dave too. Yeah, you can have whatever you want. I'm just drinking wine. You know, it's what it is. Am I too loud? I think I'm in the yellow. Got to stay in the green. You can't really get in the yellow. Anyway, let's get on with tonight. Shall we? Who else? Sal in Walla Walla, Washington. Yeah. Sal is on my mind. Mark DeMello says, hi. Dan Harrington, greetings from work. Danny, we always call you Danny. Welcome to the show. Dave Rappaport, Warwick here. Lots of people watching. Few of them know. Soul of a woman was created below. I just came up with that. Which actually ties in with something tonight. Soul of a woman was created below. That's a pretty dark lyric, huh? Hey, y'all, let's get into the first segment here. I love this segment. You guys ready for this? You can win big prizes. I don't know what I'm going to give away. What should I give away? I don't know what I should give away. You know what? Maybe I'll give this away. This is first segment here. I love this. Are you guys ready for this? You can Jeff, you have to turn the audio off. This is a straw cleaner. It opens up, trust me, and you can clean it out. So you don't have to use plastic. You could save the environment. I like it. I actually like it. I don't want to give it away, but I haven't used it. So I will give it to someone if you win, okay? Save the environment. Ready? Are you ready to do Did You Know? Here we go with Did You Know? Soul of a woman was created below. All right. Where is episode 60, right? And it's wine o'clock for the next hour, for the next 56 minutes. Leave comments. Share if you want it. Did you know that seals sleep only 1.5 minutes at a time. I bet you didn't know that. Seals, 1.5 minutes. Wow, they don't dream then. How can they possibly dream? Seals don't dream. Pigeons have been trained by the U.S. Coast Guard to spot people lost at sea. Did you know that? Pigeons. Talk about pitching in. Did you know in 1634, tulip bulbs were a form of currency in Holland? Did you know? If you're just tuning in, this is Wine with Dave, and this is the segment, Did You Know? I try to find really weird, odd, truthful little tidbits of things. And it's going to be interactive. I got 3 questions coming up. Before mercury, brandy was used to fill thermometers. That's interesting, huh? Brandy. Did you know the eye makes movements 50 times every second? Did you know that? You probably didn't know that. You don't have to be a lawyer to be a Supreme Court justice. Did you know that? No, of course you didn't. You wouldn't be watching the show. Did you know before 1687, clocks were made with only an hour hand? No seconds, no minutes. Hey, honey, what time is it? It's 3. That'd be funny, huh? We gotta leave in 15 minutes, or I don't know. It's 7. It's no 7:30. We'll be over at 7:30, 7:35. It's 7 o'clock. 1687. Yeah, no minute hands, huh? Did you know there are more French restaurants in New York City than in Paris? Wow. Here's the first interactive. Are you ready for the first interactive? Dim lights reduce what in your body? It does something to the body. When you dim the lights in a room, it will do something in your body. Just type in dim lights, dash, and just say what you think it is. Dim lights reduce something in your body. No only child has been a U.S. president. That's right. Every U.S. president had siblings. There's never been an only child become a president. Did you know ketchup was once sold as a medicine? That's cool, huh? Oh, shut up and take your Heinz. You'll be fine in the morning. I should have an Irish accent on that. You'll be fine in the morning. Take your Heinz and shut up. Be God with you. The last letter to be added to our alphabet was what? What letter was the last one that was added to the alphabet? That's number 2. And number 3, it is impossible to do what with your eyes open? Yeah, and we're done. We're done with Did You Know? Let's go through this. Dim lights reduce something in your body. What is it? Looking for someone to leave a comment on there. Dave Rappaport is in Warwick. Dave's on my mind. This wolf sleeps 3 hours, then he has to get up to pee. Dave Pickard's here. Warwick, former Lakewood boy. Melatonin, cortisol. Oh, people are okay. You're guessing. So dimming lights in a room reduces what? All right. So we're voting. All right, you guys are ahead of me. Melatonin or melatonin. Mark DeMello says cortisol. Steve Wolf thinks it reduces your vision. Okay, so you're all wrong. Dimming the lights in a room reduces your appetite. Yeah, if you're trying to lose weight, lower the lights. Lower the lights, sweet darling. 'Cause tonight I'm on my way. It's a Donna Summers hit. I've been thinking Donna Summers all week, thanks to Sal Socco. Cannot get that song out of my head. Dim up the lights, sweet honey, 'cause tonight we're on our way. Next one, the last letter to be added to our alphabet. Let's see what people said. Sal thought it was the last letter. Oh, very funny. The last letter was the last letter. No, you're wrong. So you did not win the straw. Ron Sweeney says sneeze. Oh, he's answering probably another question. Dave Pickard, dim lights is stress. No, so we answered that. Sorry, I didn't. We got to do these in order. This is my fault. It's your appetite. The last letter to be added to our alphabet was anybody? Anybody? Come on. The letter O, says Dave. No. Anyone? Sal thinks it's K. No. How about J? That's right, J. J as in Joseph. That was the last letter they added to the alphabet. And lastly, it's impossible to do what with your eyes open? Mark says sneeze. Dave Pickard says sneeze. Ron Sweeney says W. He's answering another question. Dave Rappaport says Z. That's the other question. Well, we have a few winners. It's sneeze. You cannot sneeze with your eyes open, all right? Interesting, huh? So nobody got all three right. You got to get all three right, because I'm not giving this sucker out to anybody. This is pretty cool. Can I pull this thing apart? Oh, there we go. There it is. It's a straw. So you bring it to a restaurant, and it's a straw, and you can clean it out. It comes with its own little cleaner, its own little, boom. It's cool. Comes with its own case. It's nice. From England Studio, from your friends at England Studio. So you got to tune in next week, which is the last episode of the summer. Then I'm back to a 5-day work week. And I will be very, 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 very stressed. So you want to see me freak out? Tune in for the fall. Cool. Hey, guess what today is, guys? Anybody know what today is? Anybody? Does anybody know what today is? Boom! Yes, it is National Radio Day. Today, August 20th, National Radio Day. Each year on August 20th, National Radio Day recognizes the great invention of the radio. Celebrate the news, information, music, and stories carried across the airwaves. Several inventors had a part in the invention of the radio in the late 1800s. Amazingly, not just one person can be credited with its beginning. Instead, each component developed through invention and discovery. As these technologies converged, the radio came to life. In Germany, Heinrich Hertz research proved electricity could in fact be transmitted wirelessly. Brilliant. Elsewhere, the prolific inventor patented multiple inventions and provided the radio with the Tesla coil. Born in Croatia, Tesla also contributed many patents involving alternating current. Not only did Tesla make the radio possible, but he also advanced the science and production of numerous other inventions. However, when it comes to the first commercially available wireless, the Italians did it again. It was Guglielmo. I'm going to call him G for short. G. Marconi receives the honor. What a strange name. Guglielmo. It's Gug with a lie and an LMO. Wow, who would name their kid that? He had such a horrible name, he had to make a mark. Screw it, I got a bad name, I'm inventing the radio, by golly. Anyway, what's next? We'll turn that off. But yeah, I raise a glass to the radio. I was raised on radio. That was a bad Jefferson Starship song. Raised on radio. Oh gosh, they needed to end it. When Jefferson Airplane ended, they just needed to end it. That was horrible. What a horrible. Type in if you disagree with me. Jefferson Starship should have never been a thing. Raised on radio. That was horrible. All right, what do we got next? Well, so the radio's gone, but guess what's next? Guess what else happened today? Yes, this guy happened. Well, not this guy, but something he did. Does anyone know who this man is? I should have a little tick-tock. Anybody? Does anyone know? Tchaikovsky. That is Tchaikovsky. 1812 Overture debuts live in Moscow tonight. Imagine that. They never heard of it then. They all show up in Moscow on August 20th, 1882. Tchaikovsky did not personally enjoy the piece. He called it very loud and noisy. He wrote it, and he thought it was too loud and noisy. There's no other way to hear the 1812 Overture. You got to crank that thing up. That's a loud piece of music. However, the audience at the cathedral where the piece debuted tonight loved it. The overture went on to be played at many performances throughout Russia, and Tchaikovsky conducted the piece many times in his life. That's cool. And actually, I was in Moscow when we were adopting our kids, and a friend in America knows a guy in Russia who met us and actually took us around as a tour guide, would not accept a penny from us, which was weird. We wanted to pay him handsomely, and he's like, nope, niet. But he took us to, I believe, from what I can remember, the place that 1812 Overture was first played tonight. Beautiful, beautiful cathedral, and that the orchestra was there. Imagine that. That was cool. So I'm going to take him off there. 1812. There's someone's birthday today. I'm excited about this. I don't know about you. I'm excited about this guy right there. Come on. That's right. Today it's Robert Plant, turned 72. He joined Led Zeppelin at the tender age of 68. No, I'm sorry. 20. Yeah, because he's born 1948. He was only 20 years old. He's a 20-year-old kid. You know, so next time you hate these 20-year-old kids and all the music they're into, don't. Because Robert Plant was 20 when he was belting out Whole Lotta Love. So Led Zeppelin lasted 12 years. They dominated the rock world. I raise a glass to you, Robert Plant. You're the man, my friend. The Golden God. I should be playing music. I should be playing some stuff from this guy. I can move him around, you know. I could put him on. I can have Robert on my shoulder. What'd you think of that? I could, just keep him here all night. Keep Robert here all night. Put him on the mic. Or have him hidden behind me. Anyway, I'll get rid of him. Having fun with Robert. All right. Guess what's next, folks? I got a guest. But next week, before I talk about the guest tonight, next week, my guest is up-and-coming podcaster Tiffany Moore Bourgelon. We reached out to each other on Instagram. She's got Pure Voice podcast, and she is really good. She's starting out on podcasts. She's cranking them out, and they're really good. They're really good episodes. Tune in next week, and she'll tell you how to get your own podcast. She'll tell you all the pitfalls. It's really cool. But tonight, my friends, you are in for a treat. You ready for a treat? I know you're all waiting with bated breath. This guy's good. I respect him. And his family. And his wife. And his little dog, too. What movie is that from? Tonight you're in for a treat. My guest is Jeff Chappell, an artistic sculptor specializing in wood, metal, and leaded glass for custom outdoor art. Check this out. There he is, Jeff Chappell. How's it going, man?
Good, Dave. How are you, bud?
Good. There's just a little delay in your vocal, but that's fine. Are you feeling good tonight? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I feel great. I'm very grateful to be here with you. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I've always loved your work before. I know you did a lot of woodwork, cabinets, and really fine, detailed stuff. I'm like, this guy is not just Joe Carpenter. He's really good. So, hey guys, let me just tell you, if you're watching, add comments. Just ask away. Ask them anything you want. We got Holly Coker, amazing, beautiful. Oh, she liked the video. Cool. Jeff hasn't even seen the video because we're 20 seconds into the future from you guys. So there's a guy in Tiverton who does it too. Mark DeMello says that. That's cool, Mark. Hey, let's get in this. What are you drinking tonight? Let's start with that.
Right now, just water, but
that's good. We'll do a virtual clink a little later on. Let me get my questions lined up here. So, oh my gosh, I don't have my questions. I can't believe, what did I do? I got last week's questions. Can you text them to me again? I'm sorry.
I don't even know if I have them in text format, but I can remember them.
Well, I think I remember them because I wrote some of them down. Tell me about COVID-19. How is that affecting you right now as an artist?
Well, so basically, my life's been a journey over the last few years. I moved back to Rhode Island I've lived in Rhode Island off and on several times, but I moved back to this southern part of Rhode Island after 40 years. Yep. About 2 years ago, and spent a lot of time really looking for work. But with my age, I'm 62 now. My background had been in construction, superintendent work, building buildings, and I really didn't want to go back into that. So I was trying to do, facilities, property management, and eventually just decided that I needed to find something that I really wanted to do. And as it turns out, what I really wanted to do was start making artistic pieces. So kind of here I am. I've been doing it when COVID hit. I mean, I was just in my house for, like everybody else, for weeks at a time. So I built my daughter a kitchen. I built all the cabinets. And actually, she was, I just would go up there. She was cool with me going and seeing her. So I gutted her kitchen and built her an entire new kitchen. And then when that was over, I just started making things. I really got into metalwork big time and started doing a lot of different things with metal. And so over the last 4 months, I've made stuff that I've never really imagined making before in some respects.
Do you think on the fly? I mean, are you creating right on the fly, or do you just sketch things out? What's your process?
Well, it's variation on a theme. Like, my daughter got married a couple of years ago, and I had the idea to use a gas cylinder. You see them on trucks when they drive down the road, the big green bottles and the red bottles. Those are gas cylinders that contain oxygen, nitrogen, helium. So I thought, if I cut one of those, I bet it would make a gong. And sure enough, it did. So I made a gong for my daughter's wedding, and it's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It sounds, it resonates for like a minute. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you played one of them for me. You whacked it, and the thing just goes on forever. It's amazing.
Forever, yeah. I mean, and they're beautiful sounding, and actually, you can actually really fine-tune them by how you cut them, how long you cut them. You can almost pick the note that you want. In fact, I'm sure you can. But I got the idea of decorating them, of using metal and leaded glass to create something artistically, like as a sculpture. So I started making gongs that were not just a gong, but they were, the top was a tree with branches and leaves, and then I started adding stained glass clusters to form grape clusters and make it look like a grapevine. And So it's been a variation on the theme.
Yeah.
I made a whole bunch of plant boxes. Um, did I lose you?
Nope, I'm still here.
Okay, I made a bunch of planter boxes basically because I was making one for my mother-in-law, and I decided to give her a choice of three. So I made three of them. But it's really just stuff that comes to me. I love metalwork, and that's been kind of my passion lately. I'm doing a lot with metal, but I also love the interplay between wood, metal, and glass. For example, my very good friend Ron Sweeney came down, and the two of us used one of those gas cylinders and made an octopus. And it
Yeah.
has glass eyes and lights, and I mean, Ron's an amazingly talented guy, and it's
Oh
a
yeah.
true collaboration what we came up with. But um, it we're just having fun. I mean, in a lot of ways, we're just exploring what can we make.
Yeah.
That's really my goal in my company is I want people to look at my Instagram or look at my website and realize this guy has a wide range of things that he can do. What could I do on my property? I want to create very unique, one of a kind artistic sculptures for individual clients. And I want to work with people so that I can do it for people, not just, people who can afford it, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, try to work with a wide range of things. But I want to do something beautiful, make something beautiful, and I love outdoor art.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you're not just making indoor art, you're making outdoor. Are you leaning more that way? Doing more outdoor? You
Yeah,
like things that are functional outdoor?
like, can I show you a piece?
Yeah, show a piece, and then I'm going to show your Instagram feed so we can do that
All
later.
right. I have so I've done like I do all kinds of stuff. This is a wood carving. I made
Mm-hmm.
this out of this is basically from a pine branch that sat on the ground from a very long time, and it was a log, and the branch, when you see the way that wood grows in interior, a branch grows just like this. And so this
Yep.
rotted out of the log, and I carved this into a whale. So I just saw I like to do a lot of wood carving with wood, but I my main intent is not to lose the detail of the wood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to make it look like a piece of driftwood, but also try to bring out what I see lies within.
Right. So you're not
Um,
getting just a chunk of wood and carving what you want. You're letting nature tell the other part of the story.
yeah, I mean, like, I sorry, I just dropped my glass of water.
That was a
Uh,
good whale.
yeah, that was a good
Was.
one. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. Especially with driftwood, I don't always see something in it, and I've had people send me pieces of wood that are too small or too rotted that I can't do much with. But to me, with driftwood, you have to keep the character of the driftwood. It has to look like driftwood. Um,
Yeah.
so I'll give you an example. This is a piece of wood that I found that I carved into a whale.
So pull it back a little bit so we could see it.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's a beautifully curved piece of wood. It lent itself beautifully to be a whale.
That is
Mouth
cool.
was rotten, so I had to actually make a piece to fit in. So it almost looks, it's a little weird, but you know, I didn't. It meant too much to not lose the character of the wood, and then I did have to carve this tail, but the tail is magnificent because it's just
Put that right up to the camera. We want to see that.
look at the veins in that. Like I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
that. Like
just
I'll
don't
try.
move it around. Just keep it steady,
Yeah,
and then the pixelation stop. Yeah, look at now. You can see it. Look
yeah,
at
it's
that.
cool, huh?
That is cool.
So that's the intent of a lot of outdoor art is to be organic, to
Mm-hmm.
try to make like a gas cylinder is a piece of steel, but if you can make it look like a piece of art that fits into your landscape, it's a beautiful thing.
So, does living in New England dictate the kind of style that you go after with the whole, boating and fishing? Do you think that's because obviously it's
I
all over your work?
I think it's deeper than that. I think it's genetic. I mean, my family is dyed-in-the-wool Yankees. You know, I think I'm a New Englander through and through. I love. I've always felt a complete connection to the environment, to the outdoors, and my mom's family were. My grandfather started Island Garden Sharp in Portsmouth. He was an incredibly gifted gardener, businessman. My dad's father was an incredibly gifted artist. So was my dad,
Mm.
and so I just think that you are lucky sometimes enough to inherit skills that aren't yours. They
Mm-hmm.
got passed on to you, and I feel like what I'm trying to do with my life right now is to tap into that, recognize that that lives in me as well, and see where it goes.
Yeah. So when you're creating, tell me about the zone that you're in. Obviously, you're not stressed out because you kind of you're just letting the flow happen. I'm sure. Is it very meditative? Is it kind of a spiritual
Yeah,
process you're going through as you're just creating
it,
something?
it really is. Yeah, I mean, so let me give you a little background. I've had a very varied background. I started out in horticulture. I worked as a grower. I ran greenhouses. I went from that to a landscaping business that I started, which became a construction business because I needed winter work. I've always kind of done my own thing, and I've always been very, very good with my hands. And so eventually, I took a detour and went into the ministry for about 20 years, got out of that and went into construction on a high level, and built commercial and residential, and became a very, very good finished carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I'm seeing, I'm myself realizing, is that I'm at a place in my life now where this culmination of my life's experience is coming together to formulate what I'm now trying to produce. And my
Mm-hmm.
job when I worked in construction was basically thrown into the deep end and figure it out. So I had to really learn how to teach myself how to do most everything, from reading blueprints to electrical and plumbing. And not that I did all that, but I had to know the intricacies of that to know what was happening. And so I gained a real proficiency with tools and with materials. And
Mm-hmm.
that is now paying off because I think I'm artistic. It's now paying off, and these ideas are coming to, and I don't really have an explanation for it, but I'm having a blast with it.
Yeah. So I visited your shop, and it's a
Yeah.
cool little shop. It's a funky little
Yeah.
shop in Tiverton. And are you open to having people come over and visit, or is it like, let me just keep it closed to the public now? I'm not ready to open up.
No, well, I'm actively trying to sell my stuff. I'm working on trying to get some stuff in displayable places like galleries. There's a couple of places in Tiverton that are, when you get to Tiverton for corners, there's some really artistic places there. It's getting your name in there, which is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm taking my time. I feel like I have an artistic voice, and I don't need to hurry it. Right now. I'm just creating, and I'm hoping that people will recognize by the things that they see on my pages that I could do a wide range of things to make something very specifically tailored to what they would like to have.
That's cool. So I
Yeah,
got some people leaving comments. You can't see them, but Diane Wick, Diane and Jim Wick. Diane says, "Good to see Jeff."
yeah. Well,
Dan Harrington, the works are unique. They pop out of the pictures. Wow. So yeah, you haven't seen anything, Dan. Wait till I'm gonna turn another. We're gonna do double frame to like 3 frames. You're gonna see his Instagram. Ron Sweeney says, "Love the whales." What became of it? You dropped it. Did you break it?
what became of it?
I don't know what happened there. And actually, Mark DeMello, this is a really good comment. I don't believe we get a gift we don't deserve.
Wow, that's a
That's
good.
cool.
So
You deserved this.
so let me say this really quick, and I won't say much more about it.
That's a great thing.
I met Mark yesterday, and Mark and I had an instantaneous contact. It was one of those like, all right, cool. And I invited him to this tonight, so he's a cool guy. I like him.
Nice. Now, is he an artist
Yeah.
as well? Is he doing what you're doing?
No, he's not. He's not an artist that I know of. I don't know that much about him, to be perfectly honest with you. But he's a very deep thinker.
Mm.
He's a guy that you ever meet a person that. So you know how women get on a level of intimacy relationally almost instantaneously, and that rarely happens for men. Mark's one of those guys that you could get there. He's one of those guys that has that capacity
Yeah, yeah.
to endear you very quickly, just because he's that kind of guy.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean that's he's a man of all seasons. Well, Mark DeMello, you're watching tonight and listening.
Yeah.
Your
So
ears are red. That's good. I'm gonna put that up again. I don't
yeah,
believe we get a gift we don't deserve. I
I don't
love
either,
that. I gotta write
honestly,
that
and
one
I
down.
don't honestly. Let me add to that. I don't believe we get a gift that we should ever take full credit for, because I don't think it's ever fully from us. I think it's a collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a shared. Um, I do. I just believe this. I just believe that we share all the gifts of those who brought us here.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we get to tap into it. And I feel like with my work, for whatever reason, I feel like I'm tapping into things that I'm ready for. It's that time of my life.
That's cool. Mark just gave a little smiley face. So Sal Sorko mentions Mystic Scrimshanders, and we know the owner. So I got to try to get you in there. We could sell some of your stuff in there.
Cool.
Getting in that shop. That's a physical shop. Mystic, Newport too. They have a Scrimshanders in Newport. Little limit in their space, but I'll have to hook you up with those people. Great comments, guys. If you have any comments for
The
Jeff,
one,
just fire away. Mark said of something else. We come together, but we earned it. Yeah, that's true. Let me play this. This is going to be pretty awesome. Let me see if I can do this. Ready? Boom.
yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. All right. Split screen. So stay right in the middle, Jeff. Don't move to the left or right because you're right there. But we're three screens. Me, Jeff, and also Jeff's Instagram account. Look at this thing. Here's the whale. I'm going to show. Jeff can't see this, but this is. Look at the veins on that, right? That was the whale that he was just showing. That's beautiful. So, what does it take, Jeff? You just walk around the beaches and look for things? Are you always in a state of like I'm looking to find something I can manipulate?
Oh yeah. I can't go to the piece of wood, but it's been years since I found a piece of wood that I had to take.
Yep.
Actually, that's not true. I found one this year that I carved a shark out of that I really loved, but it's a unique thing, and it's just one of those things when you see it, you know it.
Yep. So now I'm on the whale. I'm just scrolling through while you're talking. How long did it take you to do that whale?
I don't even know. Well, funny thing is, the eye was the hardest thing. It took me 2 years to do the eye because I carved it, but I
What?
was never satisfied with it. And I went back and recarved it, touched it up, but I was very careful and very deliberate because I never. If you go too far with wood, you can't come back.
Yeah.
One cool thing about metal is if you go too far, you can weld it back in, but you can't do that with wood. So I took my time. It took probably 2 years to get the eye to that whale the way I wanted it.
That's cool. I'm blowing up the eye right now as you're talking about it. That is really that lid that's so long and
Yeah.
slender.
And I don't try to be anatomically correct. I try to use the grace of the movement of the wood to show what I'm trying to show a whale. That that whale doesn't look like any whale, but it's cool looking,
It is cool. So now I'm
Yeah.
seeing another. Is it a diver tank or what kind of tanks are these? This is the
So
fish with the red fins in the yard.
yeah, so I made a sculpture that I sold. It's an actual scuba tank. I cut the bottom off of it. It's a gong. So I What I do is I make a donut that's a little bit smaller than the diameter of the tank, and then I make some kind of a wind catcher at the bottom that I hang from it, and that moves the donut, which clangs the gong.
Yep.
So that sculpture was there's a scuba diver hanging above an actual old, you know, decommissioned scuba tank, and then it's on a pole. This whole thing stands about 10 feet tall. It's on a pole that I carved a great white shark out of a piece of driftwood, who was descending from above him. So
Oh, let me get to that. Let me show you. Let me show that.
yeah, so the scuba diver has a little spear gun and he's holding a fish in one hand and he has a great white shark coming from above.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's
called
cool.
Karma. Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like what do you call it? Karma, instant karma.
Karma, yeah. It's just funny to me too. I mean, it's like this thing. The shark is like a megalith, you know. It's way bigger than he is, but
How did you
it's
make the teeth? Is that pieces of wood?
no, it's pieces of shells that actually came from Martha's Vineyard, which I thought was pretty ironic. You
Yeah,
know,
huh? Jaws.
from the jaws. Yeah, I figured this is pretty serendipitous, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long is that shark? Because I saw it in person. It looked like it was about 3 feet, 4 feet,
Yeah, it's
maybe.
about 3 feet long, and the
That's best.
pole,
Yeah.
10 foot pole with 3 feet in the ground, so it stands 7 feet tall.
That is crazy. And then underneath that, hanging here, I'm showing the photo of the diver who's got actually a fish in his hand. You get
Yeah.
into some pretty intense detail, my friend,
Yeah,
with
I
the
do.
little black nose. That's awesome.
Well, I spent so much time with woodwork, Dave. I learned to carve, not only carve, but to carve with almost every tool I owned. I can carve with a table saw. I mean, certain things.
Really?
Yeah, I've learned. So I was able to translate that ability into metal very quickly because metal is actually, in some ways, more forgiving than wood.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm showing some of the gongs. You've got one that's a red gong with a maple leaf hanging underneath. So that's an
Yeah.
interesting combination. You've got this gong, which, by the way, guys, these are not gongs like you hit it and gong and it carries on for 20 seconds. These are like 2 minute gongs. You bang these, and if you just sit down, there we go, and you hit that thing, you punch it with your fist, that thing's going for like 3 minutes. It is beautiful how deep it is. So
Yeah,
what
so
is this one now? Oh, that's
that's
it. That's the photo I'm
that's the
showing.
one. That's and so I'm ringing it, but
Yep.
I don't know if you can hear that. But
Yeah, I
anyway,
can. What can we see the bottom? Can you hold that
yeah.
up again? And
So
how heavy is that?
this is what hangs from the bottom. So I had this beautiful piece of this was actually maple, and I cut it out with a bandsaw, and then I used sanding and grind. I basically use a grinder with a sanding disc, but I formed the veins in it to give it texture and dimension.
Yep.
So this is the wind catcher that moves that hangs below the gong, and this thing sounds all as soon as it doesn't take much, a little bit of wind and the gong is gonging, it's clanging.
What do you
So
use for the clapper? Is that what it's called, the clapper?
I just cut out basically a piece of wood that's smaller than the interior dimension of the bell itself.
Mm.
So, and usually what I'll do is I'll take these little screws that are used for metal wall construction. They're flat headed, and I drill them into the sides of that disc that I've made so that so metal hits metal, it gives it a little bit of a sharper tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just the wind just moves it, and if you, it's a matter of just building that little donut inside the gong at the right dimension so it doesn't take much to hit it.
That's really amazing. I love that you're using wood reacting to metal. Like, that's part
Yeah.
of that. Do you like that? Do you like adding like not just all a metal sculpture, it's like metal and wood with some
I
glass?
do, Dave. I feel like all the things around us, all the things that are of earth are related. I mean, stone. I've used stone. I have a gong that I made. I used a huge, basically piece of one of these big tubes and made a gong, and then I cantilevered it and counterweighted it with stone. I drilled holes in the stones and made this like, one side is stones hanging of descending size, and then or ascending size, and then the other side is the gong. A
Yeah.
lot of my pictures, you can see it in the background. That's the first gong I ever made, but it's just beautiful sounding. But I like the idea of using earth materials, wood, glass, stone. I have a potter wheel that I got. I'm gonna start doing pottery this year.
Really?
I love the difference of all these earthy textures.
So I'm looking at that now. You've got the T frame, and then on
Yeah,
one side is the gong and the stones.
yeah.
The stones don't make a sound, but it's just the fact that it's a sculpture, or is there a
Well,
reason for that?
they also counterweight the gong. So for me, I made a center pole for me to be able to keep the gong to extend that pole or the gong away from the pole. I had to counterweight it.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out the weight of the gong and then the weight of the rocks that I needed to make sure that that T that's on that pole is in perfect balance.
Wow. So Jim O'Connell, remember Jim O'Connell?
Jimmy,
Jimmy,
intellect.
he just said, I love how you made a maple leaf out of maple wood.
Yeah. No, that's cool, isn't it? I
That
mean,
is cool.
to me, I appreciate that he understands that because those little nuances are important to me. Um, that's the whole idea. To me, it's not it's stronger than irony. It's connection. It's from dust to dust, but at least give it a good path along the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so I'm going through the list here. I gotta show this. Is this Ron's creation? This is the squid
The octopus.
octopus
Yeah.
with the, it
So
looks
Ron
like,
and I made that together, but I will say this: Ron was the creative. Ron laid that out, and so the so we decided we were going to make this thing. We did not have the means to do it, so I went out and bought an acetylene torch just so we could make it. And
yep.
I have never used one in my life. Ron had never used one, so I basically figured out here's how you get it going. Go for it, Ron. And Ron cut that thing out, and then he and I, we collaborated. We bent it, we heated it, we shaped it, and we came up with different ideas. Like we used washers to make tentacles on the arms. We came up with this crazy mouth idea with fairy lights in it, so it lights up at night. But Ron designed the eyes. I mean, Ron's a gifted artist guy. I love the guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Someday I want to grow my company big enough so that I can work with Ron full time. That's my goal.
Yeah, there you go. There
I
you
love it.
go.
Yeah.
Ron's gongs. So now there's a fish caught in these tentacles.
It's stainless steel.
Amazing. Yeah, well, I knew it wasn't a real fish.
Oh, the fish? No, I carved the fish.
Oh, you carved the
Yeah.
fish, yeah.
So
That's
I had a piece of 4x6 pressure treated lumber left over, and I figured I need a fish, and I carved it.
so.
I,
Let me
I
get let me get over to some other things. Now you do got these planters with
yeah,
these leaves that are kind of pitted. You've
yeah,
banged in and pitted them, and they're a bit
yeah.
pewtered. And then I'm also seeing the
Forging
glass
process.
beads from the
Yeah, the
grapes.
leaves are a forging process. I heat those, and then I heat them to red hot, basically white hot almost, and bang them and beat them and clean them up and shape them. Um, and then I go over them with a grinder, and it gives that textured, crazy look to it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. Can you just move over to your right
But it's
just a
part
little bit? Just move. Yeah, there you go.
so
You're half.
that's part of the metal work. The working with I bought a forge. I'm doing forging. I'm trying to do a lot of blacksmithing, and I bought an anvil. So I'm
Yeah,
playing
that's.
a lot with it.
Now you've got a lot of indoor games. Some of these wooden games.
Yeah.
You were telling me how that works. You don't have to get into the detail, but do you do the metal stuff and then you get tired and you're like, I got to get back to wood, or is it just
My
whatever?
origin is wood. I always go back to wood, but metal feels like the direction I should be going in for the undefined future.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, it's sustainable, right? You can. This piece of wood is beautiful with all the inlay, that box, the game. That's just like
Yeah.
really nice. So here's now
That's
I'm
a cool
showing.
game.
Yeah, so now I'm showing the potter, the planter pot with the maple leaves.
Yep.
I mean, that's just beautiful. This is all custom. You're not going to get that at Walmart or Target. You're really not.
Hope not.
That's really good. Here's a few. This is really beautiful stuff. So what is this? You've got a circular game with a ball on the top, and it's a star shape.
Oh, that's a bowl.
Oh, a bowl.
That's
Okay.
not a game. I made that for my grandson. It's a keepsake bowl.
Okay.
So I've always believed in every man should have a box to keep his stuff in.
Yep.
You know, like stuff you don't want to throw away, like, you know, your old Boy Scout jackknife, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And now I want to show the grandfather clock that you have.
Yeah.
That's pretty beautiful. This picture does not do it justice. You got to be there to see it. Explain the pieces in that and the symbolism.
So the clock I bought at Savers, it was a ruinous clock. It was a junk, and the cabinet was destroyed. So I rebuilt the cabinet, and I actually rebuilt the clock. I took the entire clock mechanism apart. I taught myself how to fix clocks, and I fixed it, and got it reworking. And then I decided I wanted to make a timepiece. I wanted to make something that. So the stained glass piece that I put in it is a drop of water dropping and splashing, like a drop of water in the ocean.
Yep.
So the idea is that time is a drop of water in the ocean, and so it lays out. So if you look at the perimeter of it, there are 12 pieces of brown, 12 pieces of red that surround it. It's set up like a clock face, but with a message that time drips away.
That's like sobering. That's a very sobering piece of work.
Yeah.
Once that drop hits the ocean, it's gone. That moment's gone forever. That's a beautiful piece.
You know the slow motion picture? That's what I tried to capture with that. The slow motion of when a drop hits and splashes, and you see this huge explosion come back at you, but it lasts for a microsecond.
Yeah.
You know, so
Wow.
I tried to capture that moment, but also the sobering point that time is just a drop in the ocean.
And I'm showing some of the outdoor gongs with the leaves. Just kind of scrolling through here. You've got this one gong outside with a hand that's holding the gong, which you don't need to. You could just hang it up. But there's a little bit of humor there, you know. Thoughts on that?
I just really thought that would be so cool. It was actually the second metal piece I ever made. And I literally made it by holding my hand up and saying, okay, what kind of piece of metal do I need for this? You know, I did this kind of thing. And I decided at the very end to do the little pinky extension, which I thought was so delicate, you know.
Yeah.
But that was just fun. I had a bunch of pieces of round metal, and I was like, I'm going to make a hand. And so, and I thought it would be so cool to have the hand hold the gong. I just thought, wow, why not?
Why not? That's cool. I like it. I like it a lot. And
Yeah,
I love that it's functional. It's not art that you just hang up and go, oh, that's really beautiful. It makes me feel a certain way. It actually works. Your art it's a gong. You're sitting there relaxing with a glass of tea, and then the wind hits it, and it's just gong, gong, gong. And it lasts for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, some of them really. I mean, here's the thing: the bigger the tank, the better it resonates. The thicker, because it's thicker walled, and it's just bigger. And so, if it's a smaller tank, what you end up doing is getting more of a harbor bell sound than you do with the big tanks. With the big tanks, you get a really kind of a yoga bell sound. It's beautiful.
Yoga bell. We've been looking for yoga bells forever.
Yeah, go with big tanks. Yeah.
I'm kidding. Is that a thing? I don't even know. I shouldn't make fun of
it
an
is a
industry.
thing. I mean, the tone, the resonant tone from a piece of metal can be a wonderful thing. It's beautiful. It's meditative. It's peaceful. It's a cool thing.
That's cool. Well, let me go through some of these comments people are making. Mark DeMello, that's beautiful. The best I've ever seen. Ron is asking, can you show the wave window? Yeah, here we go. So Ron wants to show this. This is cool, right? Where did you find this window frame, first of all?
So I made that frame. I have a place near my house that sells unmilled lumber, but they sell a lot of different varieties of stuff. That particular piece is a piece of African sipo. So I bought a 14-foot piece of wood that was inch and a quarter thick by about 10 inches wide, and I milled it into that window.
Mm-hmm.
I use a thickness planer. I cut the curves and so made that, and then so that window has 12 panes. I made a template out of cardboard and drew that out, so I had a continuous drawing, but I had all of the window styles drawn into it, so I could do a continuous drawing. And I drew the wave, and then I just went and bought as much blue glass as I could find. I cleaned one store out. I bought so much glass, and actually, I taught Ron how to do stained glass. He came down to my house when I was making that, and I said, I'm going to show you how to do this. And so we worked together, and he actually made a couple of pieces of his own. It was pretty cool.
I am jealous right now. Ron knows it more than me because I've always wanted to know stained glass.
I could teach you how to do that in a day. It's a lifetime to master. Just one of those,
Yeah.
The basics of it I could teach you in a day.
That's cool. And then you're keeping with the wave theme. You've got a brick wall with a bunch of stones, showing that piece right now.
That's from the kitchen I made for my daughter. She made an accent wall out of river stone you buy at Home Depot. It's different colored flat cut stones that are 12-inch squares, but they're river stone. And we had a bunch left over, so I thought I'm going to make her something cool. Yeah. So I made her a wave. I made her a mosaic,
That's cool. I want to end with this, Jeff. You've got a table that's got what looks like a butterfly connector. Explain this. What is that table?
So I made that table custom. That's in my house. I made it for my wife.
Yeah, that's for Deb, right? That's her.
It's the Debbie table, yeah. So it's made out of reclaimed barn board that I drove to New Hampshire to get. And I use those butterflies because those are splines that tie the wood together. But because I made the table in a round like that, that table it's not bent wood, it's laminated wood construction. So you have to cut very thin strips, you make a jig, you make the curve that you want to make, and you glue strips in that curve and then when you glue them, they form into that shape that you're making. So all of the curves in that table are made out of laminated wood. But basically, we needed a table in front of that window, so I specifically made it to cover that area. But I figured I'd put this nice drawer in the front of it because my wife loves Yahtzee.
So that's Deb's
Yahtzee table. So that drawer is really small, but it holds the entire Yahtzee game.
So she could just.
It doesn't hold the cup.
So what does Deb do? Does she snap her fingers and say, Jeff, I need a table to hold my toothbrush? And so 6 months later, you.
Jeff, I love my wife, Dave. Whatever she wants.
Oh my gosh! If my wife asked me for a table I'd be like, let's go to Target. Let's go to Savers. This is great, guys. Let me get rid of this function here. Can I do that? Get rid of that. So we're back to Jeff. Split screen, Jeff. I want everyone to go and follow Jeff's page. It's Instagram. Just go to Instagram. But you got to you got to search for Chappell Custom Craft. And you'll find him. Just click follow. And every time he creates something, he's going to post it up there and you're going to see it. Any questions you guys have? John Pelletier, come on, dude. Hey, love John. Jeff. He's saying love Jeff. Good to see you, John. Can you show the wave window? Ron is asking about how big is it and where do you get that window? So we answered that. I'm a little delayed on this.
I'll give you, actually, the window's big. It's like 5 feet by 3 feet. It's pretty big. I'm actually thinking about cutting a hole in the side of my house to put that in the side of the house because it deserves to be displayed as a window, not on a wall. It needs backlight.
Yeah, it needs that, right. Putting it on a
And
wall is like it's not doing it.
stunning. I mean,
It's not living
glass
yet.
has
It's got to
texture.
live with light.
Yeah, the glass has so much texture. It really needs backlight. It's stunning that way.
So Jim O'Connell, Jeff still wanting to learn to keep making art. We got Tom Rando. Where can I buy your work? Ooh, where can I buy your work? Well, Jeff, just say your phone number.
Well, Tom Rando has my phone number actually, but you can look on my Instagram is set up with my phone number. If people really want pricing or they want to talk to me, I purposely have not put pricing up, Dave, because of a couple of reasons. But I really am trying to attract people who want to work personally to make something custom for them. I'm not a replication artist. I'm a one of a kind artist.
Yeah.
Um, that's not to say I won't make something again that you like, but I want to make it to your taste.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know if this will work. I honestly don't. I hope it does. To me it's worth a shot. I figure I have 10 or 15 really good years of work life left in me, and I want to do something that maximizes my life experience, and I think this is it. So, see where it goes.
This is the last chapter, huh?
Well, you get to that point in your life. I'm 62 and my body's older. I worked in construction for 15 years and I hurt my body. I have, so this is actually a stepping down. It's a less invasive, less destructive way of using my body. But
Mm-hmm.
you do recognize that at some point you've got to put the tools down. I'm just trying to stretch it out for another 10 years or so by being kinder, gentler. But I also
Yeah.
recognize I've gotten a lot more inventive and artistic, and I just want to see where I can explore and go where it goes.
Really good stuff, and I love the material you're using. Ron just posted it's Chappell Custom Craft and 603-718-0338. He forgot a number.
No, 0938.
Oh, 0938. So
Yeah.
Ron might have to just edit that one. But yeah, that's good. Keep his post his number again. I'll put it there on the screen so we have it for.
My Instagram page. And if you read my profile, my email address and my phone number is on that.
Right.
So that's a
So
good way to make.
the future for Jeff Chappell.
What is it?
What is the future? Where are you going from here? You going to go to Martha's Vineyard, beaches, looking for shells and wood and metal, or keeping your eyes open?
No, no. I mean, the future is where it leads, but the future is to do what you love because you love what you do, and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. I want to do what I love, and this is it. I love doing this. I think art has a way of expressing an individual's view that might just affect the way you view the world around you. That's what I love about artists, every one of them. I
Mm.
don't. I think it's amazing to see how the genius of humanity, and not everybody likes everybody else's work, and I could care less. But I'm hoping that what I'm doing at least piques enough people to give them some joy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's good. Those are good closing words. I've always known you as an old soul. I don't think I've ever said that, but you just feel, when I'm with you, I feel, and I'm not, and I, don't take this the wrong way. It's not like you go to the mountain and you talk to Jeff and you go back to reality. It's not like you're the old sage. But in a way, just hanging with you, you're very grounded, and you're looking to stay grounded. And the fact that you're doing this work now is a really good thing. And man, I wish you the best of luck
Thanks,
and the
Dave.
best of
It is an
blessings.
effort. It is an effort to stay grounded because it's not always easy to do that.
Mm.
We all know that life is complicated and it has a lot of twists and turns. But this is this is the most genuine direction that I think I've ever felt I should go in. I feel like it's where I should be, and you know, I just hope it works out. I hope it makes a lot of people happy.
Well, art feeds the soul. I believe that totally. You got to
Cool.
love what you do. You know,
Yeah, and I do.
don't build up your resume so you can
I,
get that other job. Just do
and I,
what you want to do. I mean,
I
my gosh, I wake up every day loving my life. You know.
yeah, I'm happy for you in that way, Dave. I feel the same way about you. I really love what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing, and congratulations on 60. This is it's a milestone. It's big, and I don't know how many people really know that, but what I think you're trying to do is huge. It's huge.
Yeah, as a creative person, being consistent 60 times, oh my
Yeah,
goodness. But yeah, it's actually trained me. It's helped me to think of who can I bring on next, you know. So anyway,
yeah.
it's not about me, it is about you. Guys, go to Instagram, Chappell Custom Craft, and let's schedule part 2. I'll have you on again because I'm going to a 5-day week in 2 weeks. So I'm back to Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock every single night. So I'm going to need guests. I've got some interesting people coming up. I got a guy that's he makes mead for the Viking culture.
No kidding,
So
really?
hopefully he'll be on. I get some interest. I don't want to give it away, but
Is
really
mead
interesting
made from
people.
honey?
What's
Is
that?
mead is mead made from honey?
I
Is
couldn't
it?
tell you. I couldn't
I
tell
think
you.
it is. I think it's a fermented honey drink. I could be wrong on that. But
Well, one of my guests is Rune Klanda, Clan Runda. They're in North
oh yeah,
Carolina, and you got to watch that episode. He
yeah,
makes Viking chairs. He makes
yeah,
these old wooden.
exactly.
He's kind of in your world, but not entirely. But his niche is all about the Viking, Celtic, and Norse. And
Yeah,
he just texted me today saying, because he was putting posts up on Instagram, he's like trying this mead. He makes these wooden jugs with the big fat handle. This sucker is like that big. It's the size of his wife's head. But somehow he got a hold of this mead, poured it in. There's a guy that makes it. And he texts me today. He's like, Dave, you got to have him on the show. This guy makes amazing mead. So I'm like, yeah. Wine with Dave. Mead with Maury.
all right. I'll
Hey,
look forward to that.
yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you, Jeff.
Dave, thanks for having me, man. It's been a pleasure.
All righty.
Really have.
Take care. We'll stay in touch.
All right, buddy. See
Bye-bye.
ya. Thanks.
Bye-bye. All right, that was great. That was Jeff Chappell. What a great guy. An old friend, but with a new plan on life, new lease on life, new direction, you know, just like walking away from the big contracting world that he was part of and just really wants to get in touch with his creative self. So, yeah, you kind of wonder, like, you got to think about who you are as a human being and say, am I happy doing what I'm doing right now, or should I be doing something else? If you're wondering that, A, that's a good thing, and B, go down that road because you may not be doing what you're supposed to be doing, but Jeff is doing that, so that's really cool. It is 10:09. I don't have a closing joke. I try to get one every week, but I don't know. I just, why'd the chicken cross the road? There's stuff like, I don't know. I love humor. Believe me, I'm half Irish. I love a good joke. As Jim O'Connell could attest. Yeah, you're welcome, Jim. Great podcast. Thank you, Gary. It's actually not a podcast. It's a live feed, but I am going to be sending these up to YouTube. I was supposed to do that in the beginning of the summer. I figured, I got the whole summer off. I'm only doing one show a week. I can send them up to YouTube. So now I have a live Facebook show and I have a YouTube channel. And then I'll grab their audio and pop that up to Libsyn and right up to iTunes and Spreaker and iHeartRadio, and I have a podcast. But no, because I'm an artist, I put things off. It's what I do. What do we got here? Dan Harrington, Genuine Direction. Yes. Terrific show. Thank you, Dan. Dan, I want to have you on if you're still listening. I really hope you're listening. I've been thinking of you. Your articles are great. I read every one of them. Well, I let me be honest. I don't read all of them. Well, I read one. No, I've read a couple. And you're a history buff. I want to have you on the show. Please contact me. Dan Harrington, contact me. I want to have you on Wine with Dave. Second week of September's open. First week's all filled up. You need to add Dylan to the writing team for closing. Dylan is not, well, yeah, he's kind of funny. I was going to say he's not funny. That's not a good thing to say to 800 people who are watching. My son's not funny. But he is funny. He's pretty quick-witted. He's starting to insult me. He's at that age where he can insult his dad. You know, and I look at him and I get mad. I'm not really mad, just so you know. But I'm like, why would you say that to me? I've raised you. I've loved you. I've done everything for you. And you're making fun of me. And then he throws another joke. So he gets my humor. I love him to pieces. I had Alina on the show. I got to have Dylan on the show. He just got done building tiny houses. Got paid for it, too. It was like a 5-week course, 5-week job building tiny houses. So, anyhow, Ron Sweet, Dan Harrington's daughter Grace does all the illustrations for. I know, and she's really good. She's really good. I commented on her. I told her she's got a promising career. Guys, it is 10:11. Actually, just turned to 10 to 12. Thank you so much. If you're not following the show, just please, please, please. I do this for nothing. Although, right over here, if you see that, boom. Venmo me. You can Venmo me. Musicians do it. They play guitar, you know. They're doing old Journey tunes and getting paid on Venmo. If you're on Venmo, throw me a couple bucks. It'd be fun. Maybe I'll give the money away. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I'll buy wine. Anyway, gotta go. Tune in next week. If you want to learn about podcasting, next week's the week. She's going to show you how to make a show about your life. I do have special effects. Take care, everyone. We all have an expiration date. Be very, very kind to everybody. You don't know when they're going to expire.